Have you ever heard a sound so beautiful, so strange, that it seemed to reach inside your chest and tug at your very heart? That's how it began for Fair Janet, the Earl of March's daughter, one golden autumn afternoon, when the air was still and the forest beyond her window whispered secrets in the wind. She sat in her chamber, a soft pool of sunlight spilling over her hands as she stitched a length of silk. Outside, leaves drifted lazily through the air, gold and crimson tumbling against a pale blue sky. Then, it came. A horn's call. Not loud, not brash. No, it was a silvery thread of sound, so clear and pure it felt like a dream you didn't want to wake from. It called again, gentle as breath, and this time she swore it shaped her name. Janet, fair Janet, come hither. Her needle slipped from her fingers. Her heart began to beat faster, as though it already knew she would follow. Through the tall grass she went, across moss-soft earth and into the cool shadow of the forest. Her skirts caught on brambles, the damp leaves kissed her shoes, but still she moved toward that sound. And then, through a shaft of golden light, she saw him. A knight in a deep green cloak, standing beneath a twisted elm. His silver horn gleamed, and sunlight slid like honey across his shoulders. When he smiled, it felt as though the whole forest leaned in to listen. "Is that a fairy horn?" she whispered. "Aye," he said, his voice like warm velvet. "And it was in Fairyland I learned to play it. I've wandered far and wide, yet only you have heard and answered." Her breath caught at the word Fairyland. She should have turned back, but something in his eyes was achingly human. "My name is Tamlane," he said softly. "I was once of this earth, stolen away by the fairies when I was but a child. I serve their queen now, but my heart longs for home." Janet's voice trembled. "Can't you leave them?" "Not without help. Only a mortal woman, brave and true, can break the spell. And I believe that woman is you." Before she could speak, he drew a silver ring from his pocket and slid it gently onto her finger. "On Halloween, when the veil between worlds is thinnest, the fairy court will ride. At midnight, stand in the shadows of Milescross. The queen will come first on a black horse with bells, then her ladies, then her knights. I'll be last, on a milk-white steed, my right hand gloved, my left bare. That is how you'll know me. When you see me, pull me down. Hold me, no matter what they turn me into. Do not let go." She met his gaze and said, "I'll hold on, I promise." And then he was gone, like mist melting into the light. Halloween night came cold and watchful. Janet stood at Milescross, her breath clouding in the dark. Somewhere far off, a bell chimed. The earth seemed to hum beneath her feet. Then the forest began to glow. The fairy queen appeared, her black horse silent as shadow. Behind her came the maidens, their hair floating like silver smoke, laughter spilling like music without breath. Then the knights, cloaked in green. And finally, the milk-white steed, his right hand gloved, his left bare. Janet ran forward, seized his cloak, and wrenched him from the saddle. The fairy music died. The air rang with cries. "Tamlane's awa! Tamlane's awa!" In her arms, the man was gone. A snarling wolf writhed and snapped. She clung tighter. The wolf became a blazing bale of straw, flames licking her hair. She held still. Smoke curled into a serpent, its cold scales winding around her arms. She gritted her teeth and held on. Then, with a rush of air, a white swan beat its wings against her face. She did not loosen her grip. And then, Tamlane was there again, flesh and blood, breathing hard. "You did it," he gasped. Behind them, the fairy queen's eyes burned like frost. "If I had known yesterday what I know today," she said, her voice like wind over ice, I would have taken your eyes and given you stones. I would have taken your heart and filled it with clay." But her words faded into the night. The light dimmed. The court was gone. Hand in hand, Janet and Tamlane walked back to her father's castle. Warmth wrapped around them as the great doors opened, and laughter spilled out like golden light. They were wed in the weeks that followed, and though the fairies never forgot, they never dared to claim him again. Sometimes, when Janet sat by the window, she would hear him humming, soft notes that carried the faintest trace of that fairy horn's magic. And every time she smiled, knowing she had kept her promise. Because courage and love, when they stand together, can break even the oldest spell. Like, comment, and subscribe for more magical tales. And tell me, if someone you loved was trapped by magic, would you face the whole fairy court to save them? I'll be waiting for your answer in the comments.